Okay, so one question we get a lot is with all of the resume templates that are available online, how do you know which one is a good resume template? And Kaylee here has some thoughts for us.
I do. So when you're searching for resume templates, it's really important that above everything else, it's well written. So definitely use a buddy system. Have somebody else read it, if not a couple different peers that can make sure that all your grammar is correct and there's no spelling, and that you are conveying spelling errors, and that you are conveying your expertise as best as you could.
So when you say conveying your expertise, can you give me an example of what that means?
Yeah, so a lot of times we'll see people utilize job descriptions as the core base for their resume, and that is actually not the best use of a resume. It's really more tied to conveying the value add that you brought to the team when you were a part of it. So say you worked on a project that yielded a 20% increase in revenue for the company that you work with, make sure that you convey that versus you just did sales and ongoing sales for the organization. So you want to make sure that there's some kind of quantifier on the value that you brought to the organization in each one of the roles that you have on your resume.
So I think what I'm hearing you say is that we are looking for not only your scope of responsibilities,
correct,
but also within the scope of your responsibilities, really kind of couching your bullet points in, a description of what the problem was and how you solved it within that.
Correct.
So instead of just listing out, I did XYZ PDQ, I did X because Y was an issue, this is how I fixed it, that type of thing.
Correct.
Other things to note just briefly that we see a lot, if you are looking to transition into a different industry segment, or if you're applying for a job that's a little bit outside of your wheelhouse or a little bit kind of different, definitely make a point of describing in the top line of your resume where you have the company name. Make sure you put just a single sentence about what that company does. So if you're working for, a small mom and pop company, say this is an E&P with assets in X basin, or a publicly traded, blank company, so that people who are reviewing your resume that might not have an understanding of what the name means actually have an idea of what the company does.
Yeah, it also helps provide a little bit more context when they're looking at your role within that organization and all the activities that you did for the organization, to know if it was a small mom and pop or if it was a publicly traded organization from a power utility standpoint, whatever it might be. Make sure that you outline that below the name of the organization, just to recap.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think those are kind of the key big ones. Other one I would say would be the not using I in your resume. So I did this. It's not you writing a letter to your future employer. It is truly going to need to be in that third person to have that professionalism that you're looking for.
Absolutely. And if you guys are looking for an example of this, if you go to our website, we actually have a free template that you can download and make it your own. Absolutely. So where you'll find that is if you go to iridiumrecruiting.com and then you click on, I believe it's the jobs tab, and then it says on the drop down resume template, there's a couple ways you can access that. It is a Word file, just download it. You will notice that it is very basic and there's not a lot of fancy graphics or anything like that on it, but it should give you an idea, and it also highlights some of the things that we've talked about in this video with best practices. So definitely check that out.
Hope that helps.
Thank you.
Thank you.